All right, so we are out here at Irwindale Speedway, pretty much the final event when it comes to professional drifting. We ran Formula Drift a couple weeks ago, but if you don't know, the House of Drift, Irwindale Speedway, is closing. Now, that's been said many times before. I think this is the 7th annual Irwindale Speedway is closing year, but being a local, being that this is one of my home tracks, I actually do believe that this is the last full professional competition of drifting at Irwindale Speedway. It sounds like stuff is already being sold off and planned for demolition and shutdown, which just breaks my heart. But it's amazing to have the opportunity to get back out here one last time, pretty much where I learned to drift 20 years ago. We've got my old Formula Drift car, trusty MX5. The first couple laps were a little shaky. I actually didn't have a great experience with this car the last time I ran it here at the full Formula Drift Irwindale track, but we ended up making multiple suspension changes, and we discovered some things in this chassis and in this setup that we didn't like during the past couple years of Hotpit competition. Some of that was in our rear suspension settings. We ended up deciding that me particularly as a driver and with this short wheelbase and just how these multi-links work, I don't like toe gain. It feels uncontrollable to me. I know some drivers do like it. I like to have a static toe position, so I'm not having any type of large traction change or dynamic change in the chassis while I'm driving. And that was actually happening back when I was driving this car years ago. So as the car has evolved, as we've worked on our suspension settings, we've been able to come up with a much better chassis feel in this short wheelbase car than I had years ago. So after we got about 3 or 4 laps in, we adjusted tire pressures. We ended up running a staggered rear toe, so it's not an equal rear toe. We've got more toe on the inside tire. And that's something we've done here at Irwindale for years, so I'll give away a secret since the track is closing. But yes, in drifting, we often run staggered setups in tire pressure, spring rates, or toe settings. We're fueling back up a little E98, some fresh tires because we baked these ones right off. I'm feeling good with the gearing. We're running 5th gear around the bank. It's right now a 5.7 rear end gear, so we can run 5th at about 130 miles an hour at 10,000 RPM. And we've got our sway bar settings on soft. This is from the previous round, so we may end up stiffening those sway bar settings up. Just some of the technical stuff and overall suspension changes that we'll do on a weekend, looking at gearing, suspension, alignment, dampening. We've ended up going stiffer on the dampening, and that's one of the reasons why we're thinking maybe we need to go back to a medium or stiff sway bar setting. And in this particular car, we're running Speedway engineering sway bars, so just off-the-shelf race car stuff. We made our own mounts, keeps everything clear of the suspension, and it's feeling good. It's feeling good overall. We did also remove the wicker, so we're just running the wing. And in Formula Drift, we can't run big wings anymore when it comes to bank tracks like this. So again, this is really cool to compete in Hotpit in my old Formula Drift car and be able to use things that maybe we can't do in Formula Drift. Like the car's lighter than it would be legal in Formula Drift, and we've got a big wing on the back. So just a little bit of the rule differences. I can't help but notice we actually melted the back tire to the bottom of our carbon cognition wing. So we're literally throwing rubber off of down here and planting it on the bottom of the wing. That was cleaned off this morning. I always think that's cool. Just throwing rubber, flinging rubber. I think this car we're going to continue to use. I am retiring the RX-8, but I really enjoy driving this car. Maybe not at the huge fast tracks so much, but in technical tracks, one of my favorite cars to drive. But the reason I want to build the FD3S is because I like this small car so much, but it's a little too small. Even when it comes to the driving cockpit, I'm a little cramped. And we've had to really pack stuff in. If you notice, my elbow rests on the fire bottle. The e-brake is lay down. And when you think about my knees to steering wheel position, I'm not a short guy. It's a pretty compact driving situation. So we'll be talking about the FD3S, how we built the roll cage compared to the MX5, the interior layout, and engine package really soon on the channel. We've just been at SEMA 7 stock, and then Hotpit. So 3 events, 3 weeks in a row, while we've been working on some cool engine packages for customers. So it's been quite busy. Again, this one's basically right now we're running 26 PSI a boost, I think, 28 PSI a boost, somewhere right in that range, and it's rolling about 860, 800 and change at the wheels, no nitrous. I consider this a detuned setup because this car used to target 33 pounds of boost with a 70 shot of nitrous, and that would roll over 1,000. But with the lightweight aspect, smaller tire sizes, and just me wanting just a reliable, fun car, we've been able to utilize now this engine package, this setup, for basically the past 3 years on Hotpit. We did have to take it apart once because we sucked a piece of turbo in, but I don't blame the turbo and I don't blame the motor. We had some stuff going on. Things got hot. It was in competition, but in that 800 horsepower range, the 20V engine, as long as you're watching EGTs, it's got ample fuel delivery, air intake temperatures are monitored, oil temperatures, water temperatures. As long as you have control over the fundamental aspects of the engine, these packages are really reliable. It's amazing what we get away with when things go bad. And it's amazing how long and how well they'll run when I am just beating on them on the rev limiter. And that's just my take on these. But you really have a whole field of competitors that are building their cars to absolutely beat on them. Whether they're rotary, whether they're piston, drifting has changed a lot of what we do in motorsports, and really tested components in ways that we never thought they would be tested. So I think the team is about ready. We're tired up. Everything's looking good, and we are mid-practice, so I am going to get back out there, and I just appreciate everybody who supports the channel, watches us grow the team, grow the business, and challenge the rotary engine, continue to push its limits. So thanks for watching, and we got a lot more content because after this event, it's actually the off-season for me. I don't get a long one, but we'll actually get some time to build a new car, work on some projects, and talk some shop. So I think that is a wrap. That's a wrap. I got to get back in the car, do the job I like, the driving. It's my favorite part, but hey, please hit me up if you need a rotary engine because that's what helps us keep the team going and pay the bills. That's a wrap.